Okay, it's not actually Sunday. It's in fact Wednesday. So I've got the week off. So I decided to have a game midweek, just get the most out of his days off before he loses to Star Wars again. So we're playing a Battle for the Past scenario, 2,500 points, and it's Warriors of Chaos versus Ogres. So I was fiddling with my list again, and I hope to sort of temper it into something I can actually use. Obviously, the last two defeats have certainly helped temper it. Right, so I'm going to run you through my list, and then Si will do his. So starting off, we have a Chimera, Demon Prince General, who's the level 4 Mark and Nurgle, a Mark and Nurgle Gorby's Chariot, freshly converted. I think I showed you that last week, but then we have well, slightly proxy, but I'm probably not going to buy the models because they're a little bit on the pricey side. But and they're probably going to be useless anyway, so I'll probably never use them again. So, but basically, I have 5 Forsaken with a Mark of Khorne, another 5 Forsaken with a Mark of Khorne, 5 Warhounds, 4 Skull Crushers with a Musician, 19 Warriors with Mark of Nurgle and Halberds. There's also Festus in there, and the BSB, and a Hell Cannon. So that's it. So I'll hand it over to Si, see what he's got.
Okay, I've tried something a little bit different from my last game. Because we'd upped the points cost slightly to 2,500. Obviously, I've had to tweak the list to make it technically legal because I didn't have enough Iron Guts before. And also, you pointed out at the end of the last game that I'd also been fighting with 2 less Iron Guts anyway, so it was technically an illegal force all the way through. But yeah, I have I've dropped my lead belchers and I bought old Shaggy, the Stonehorn, back in. I've missed him. It's an absolutely amazing model, and it's destined for a paint job because I want to use him in my little 1,000-point army that I've got for playing against our friends Lizardmen. So yeah, I'll run you through the hopefully improved Ogre force. So over here I have a Saber Tusk. Well, it's actually a horse, but it does the job for the time being until I can repair my Saber Tusk. Old Shaggy's back. He sits on my left flank. Then I have a unit of 8 man-eaters. Big difference this time is that I dropped their extra weapons and armour and gave them a brace of pistols each. So we shall see what that does. And then behind is old Reliable, Mark 27, who actually last game was pretty damn reliable. So let's hope he can continue his winning ways. This is the first damn time a Skaven Warp Lightning Cannon has ever done anything useful to me. Then over here I have a unit of 14 Guts. That is the full command. In there is my BSB and my Slaughtermaster, who is the General, level 4. Then by the side of that we have another Saber Tusk. And then right out on my right flank are 4 Mournfang with standard musician. And that is my army. Basically 2,500 on the nose. Ollie won the roll to go first, so we'll see you at the end of Chaos turn 1.
Okay, it's the end of Warriors of Chaos turn 1. And I just shuffled stuff around. I didn't really want the first turn. So I just moved things a little bit. Then I rolled Boxcars for Magic Phase, which is always nice, except when all your stuff is range 18. So first out I tried to cast Fleshy Abundance on the Chariot, just to keep it alive from a cannon shot, just to try and get the lore attributes going. Failed to cast it, that was with Festus. And then the Demon Prince attempted the extended range Curse of the Leper on the Mournfang, thinking I'd lower their toughness and then cast Rancid Visitation, but unfortunately Sire dispelled Curse of the Leper, and form was called now. Rancid Visitations is only range 18, and you can't increase it. So it wouldn't have been in range anyway, so it would have been a bit pointless. But it would have at least had a chance to roll on the lore attribute. So that didn't go very well, but you know, everything's range 18, so it was bound to happen really. I was just kind of hiding behind the building because I didn't want a cannon in the face on the first turn. And that was it. And then the Hell Cannon was going to fire at the Gut Star, try and snipe his BSB just to get the ball rolling. But unfortunately I rolled a misfire and rolled the blood, and the Hell Cannon charged 17 inches. Luckily this unit was in the way, just to stop it. It would have charged 17 inches towards him, which would have been a problem. So I'm glad that was slightly in the way. And that was it. So that was the first turn. Certainly not the best first turn I've ever had, but no one died, so can't really go wrong there. Unfortunately, none of the ogres died either, but you know, there we go. So we'll hand you over to Si for his turn 1.
Okay, it's the end of Ogre's turn 1. Basically, the kitty cats moved up. My saber tusks up here, and everyone else edge forward behind them. Magic phase, I managed to roll an 8. With that, I managed to get spine marrow off on the guys over there. Ollie unfortunately dispelled my tooth cracker augment, and then I actually failed to cast by 1 troll guts, rolling rather pathetically. I rolled 4 on 3 dice, which kind of left me with nothing else to cast. The plan had been to try and get that off, and then have a punt at Brain Gobbler on the chariot. Although because it was just in range of BSB, unfortunately, it probably would have passed, but you know, it was worth a shot. So yeah, that was the end of the magic phase. Shooting was reasonably successful. The bolt thrower on the Stonehorn unfortunately missed. It needed a 6 because it was just out of long range. If I moved it forward like another inch, that would have been in sort of short, but and it would have hit with the one I rolled, but yeah, not too bad. Thankfully, the Iron Blaster carried on from how it was doing last game, and managed to jib one of the Skull Crushers, which was rather handy. So yeah, that was reasonably successful. It's now Chaos turn 2.
Okay, it's the end of Warriors of Chaos turn 2, and it's looking a little better this time. So I charged the Demon Prince and the Manticore into, sorry, not the Manticore, the Chimera, into the Morn Fang, needing relatively short distance, and they both made it for once, which was nice. And then everything else just kind of moved back a bit. Don't really want to fight him just yet, until I can get my my other units in position. Magic phase was a bit of a bust, however. I got 9 dice. Tried to cast Curse of the Leper on the Chimera, just to make it survive a bit longer by giving it D3 toughness. So I dispelled it. Then I cast the juiced up version of Miasma, just to lower their weapon skill. Yeah, to lower their weapon skill. Well, yeah, an initiative. Just to make the Chimera survive a bit longer, but it got rid of that as well with a double 6. So that was a pain. And then with Festus, I managed to get uncontested because he'd used up all his dice. Got all Fleshy Abundance on the Skull Crushers, but didn't get the lore attribute. So at least that was something. That's the first one I got off from, I think, 19 magic dice over the 2 turns, and I finally got a spell off, so that's nice. And then in the shooting phase, the Hell Cannon came good. Its lust for blood, it decided that shooting is probably the best way to get some blood rather than just charging at the enemy. So it fired a big old bolt of doom into the Iron Guts, onto the middle guy. I decided not to target the BSB this time, which I tried last time. So it hit the guy in the middle, and consequently his Slaughtermaster and his BSB failed their lookouts. So if I had actually targeted him, I might have had a chance of killing him. But thankfully, felt a bit better when he passed his 4-up ward, so I probably wouldn't have killed him. But Slaughtermaster didn't take a wound, but I did, after the guy under the hole and the other 6 guys, I managed to actually take out 3 ogres. One of them was already wounded from Grubsicle, so that was pretty good. Thinned him out a little bit more. So now his unit's back down to the same size it was in all the other games we played when he kind of forgot 2 guys. So equalised. Yeah, the hounds moved up to kind of redirect the Stonehorn just to slow him down a bit. And that's it. So, and then in close combat, went pretty well. The Demon Prince managed to do, I think, 2 wounds to one of the Mournfang. And then the Chimera went at the same time as the Mournfang. Mournfang thankfully only did a wound to him. And then in return he killed I think he did 4 wounds in total. And so I passed his fear test as well. And I won the combat, but he had spine marrow on, so actually passed his stubborn test. So yeah, so they're stuck in combat, but that's kind of fine because they're a bit safer there. So, and that's it. So it's the end of Chaos turn 2.
Okay, it's the end of Ogres turn 2. A lot of mad stuff is happening. The main bulk of the army moved up in support of each other. The kitty cats trying to get in ways and frenzy bait, etc. The magic phase was a pretty big one. I rolled an 11. I managed to get Troll Guts and Toothcracker off on the Mournfang. I think Ollie dispelled Spine Marrow, and I cast Brain Gobbler on the Chariot, though he passed his leadership test. So yeah, with that in mind, I went to the shooting phase. The Bolt Thrower on top of the Stonehorn shot at the Skull Crushers. It hits, but unfortunately I rolled a 1. Then I fired with the Iron Blaster, and I rolled 3 2s. So I rolled a 2 for the bounce, and well, a 2 for the overshoot, and then 2 twice for the bounce. So yeah, I was most disappointed. I needed a 6 basically to score a hit. So yeah, I was a bit gutted there. So the shooting phase was a bit moot. Then what else was there? Then it went down to close combat, and unfortunately, as you can see from over here, didn't end too well for Mournfang. I managed to save all of the wounds from the Demon Prince since I had Troll Guts. However, the Flaming Breath weapon on the Chimera was removed Troll Guts, and then it just sort of went to town and like killed another Mournfang. And then unfortunately I couldn't wound it in return. I rolled terribly again, and yeah, basically that was the end. And it was only the Standard Bearer left, and he broke and was dead. So yeah, they both reformed, and it's not looking good. So it seems that Ollie has identified a good use for monsters and demon princes, and it shows that I need to sort my tactics out, because it's now his go. And as you can see from the picture here, yeah, good. So yeah, it's now on to Chaos turn 3.
Okay, it's the end of Warriors of Chaos turn 3. And certainly looking good now. The Hell Cannon passed its crazy check, or whatever it's called, and these guys passed their frenzy test. So, charge wise, I charged the Demon Prince into the flank of the Gutstar, and one of these Forsaken units charged into the Saber Tusk that was there. Then I just kind of moved everything around to kind of prepare for anything the man-eaters might do, including moving the dogs to redirect the Stonehorn. And then in the magic phase, I got, I think, 7 dice, so no channels, so I got 6, and I managed to get off nothing at all. The Demon Prince cast Curse the Leper on himself, so I dispelled it. He then cast Miasma of... I can't remember, Miasma or something, but basically to lower their weapon skill. And so I dispelled that as well. And then I attempted to cast Fleshy Abundance on the Skull Crushers, but I failed to cast it. So another fruitless magic phase. Then in the shooting phase, the Hell Cannon fired at the Man-Eaters and actually scattered off. Actually fired at the back guy, so there's a good chance of scattering onto anything, but I scattered this way. So I didn't actually do anything there, but that's fair enough. And also the Chimera moved around here just so he wouldn't get eaten by a cannon, because I didn't fancy charging him into the guts as well, just because he's a bit more fragile than the Demon Prince. And then in close combat, right, so Forsaken, I don't really rate them, but I thought I'd try them, give them a go. But so far they're not impressing me. I charged into Saber Tusk, rolled on my table for randomly cool abilities that are sometimes useful. Rolled a 1 to get Always Strikes last, which is always useful for your opponent. So the Saber Tusk went before me. Saber Tusk killed 2 of my Forsaken, bearing one Forsaken to 21 points each, and he's 21 points. So I was already down. Then I attacked, got plenty of hits, and killed it. But then, of course, because I'm Khorne, I overrun 11 inches into the other one, thus blocking up my unit like you wouldn't believe, and totally rendering my plan for his Iron Guts charging my flank useless, because now they're out of the way. So, I don't know. So that Saber Tusk's probably going to kill the other 3 now. So yeah, good idea in theory. I don't know. I don't know what their purpose is. I didn't see the point in taking them a big unit. They just don't seem much use. I thought a small unit might be fun, but they're just getting away. So I don't know about those. Could have just been bad luck though, as it's a new unit, but I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah, and then in the other close combat, the Demon Prince did 4 wounds, which was lovely. He issued a challenge. The champion accepted. And I just killed him with 4 wounds, and that was it. So I did attempt to reform, but unfortunately I had a minus 4? Yeah, minus 4 to the roll because of the combat res, and actually failed to reform even with the reroll. So I'm still in his flank, which is pretty bad news for him. So certainly going to hold him up for another turn at least. So that's the end of Warriors of Chaos turn 3, and it's looking pretty good right now. I'm really happy I'm holding up the Gutstar. And I'm not so happy with the Forsaken because they've kind of hampered my positioning, but we'll have to see what Sai does in his next turn. So that's it. So see you at the end of Ogres turn 3.
Okay, it's the end of Ogres turn 3. Basically what's happened is I swiveled around the Man-Eaters to shoot the dogs. The Iron Blaster just sort of moved around a little bit. This just stayed, the Stonehorn just stayed where he was, and then sort of everything else just remained the same. The magic phase was a total washout. I got 7 dice and then rolled a double 1 for the first thing I cast. The only plus side was the fact that I didn't roll it for Grutzicle. So yeah, that basically screwed me over, which I think is going to be a bit problematic now for this unit. But we'll just have to see how it goes. Yeah.
We forgot this combat.
Yes. Oh yeah. We'll play it out on camera, I think.
Yeah. All right.
So you need to roll for what your.
Random, but let's see if I can get some slug braids going.
So yeah, this is the glorious combat versus the 3 remaining Forsaken.
Ooh. The armour piercing special rule. Get in.
Oh, so
I'm going to initiative 4.
Definitely no armour. So okay, you roll your dice first.
I get 3 attacks each.
So yeah, with hatred, gets to thankfully re-roll. So he gets another 3 attacks.
Reinforced to wound.
Oh dear. So that's 1 dead kitty.
Hey, it is another kitty.
So it's dead,
so
but
hit back.
I get to attack back. So it's 2 hits and a wound.
He's dead.
So he's ganked 1 in return. So he's paid for his points. by killing another Forsaken. That Kit Kat is dead, and now they have to overrun, which is pretty handy. A massive 11 again. So yeah, basically they're just
they're going to hit the chariot, aren't they?
Yeah. So yeah, they're just kind of getting in the way of everyone.
The Western fanatics.
So yeah, that was an interesting end to the game. In the rest of the close combat phase, basically the Demon Prince had his way with the Ogres again. Unfortunately, with the lack of Troll Guts, as Ollie pointed out, he could have got rid of it, but I kind of needed him to have got rid of his breath weapon, because now he can sit back and wait until, because obviously if he any time he dispels Troll Guts now, there's a bonus for him, because it just means that he can forgo that breath weapon until he really needs it. So potentially this might be a lost unit. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate Magic Phase went that way for me, but at the very least I did manage to reform my guys. So I can bring to bear a few more attacks against him now. So yeah, a bit unfortunate, but yeah, it's not the end of the world, but it's a bit shit. So yeah, that was the shooting was pretty null and void. I hit with the bolt thrower, did a wound to one of them, unfortunately, and then I hit marvellously with these guys. Rolled a 10, so just hit the back. And then, well, wouldn't you guessed it, I rolled a bloody 1 to wound. So yeah, unfortunately I only needed to roll a 2+2+, and that would have been another dead dude. But as it stands, it ain't. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, because as you can see, they're now facing down a rather nasty charge at the Man-Eaters. And with 2, I felt confident I could deal with them relatively unscathed. However, I think 3 is going to be a bridge too far. So yeah, with that in mind, it's now on to Chaos turn 4.
Okay, it's the end of Warriors of Chaos turn 4, and go from strength to strength. Although no thanks to the Forsaken. No wonder they're Forsaken. Right, so charge wise, well, first up, my Hellcannon failed its test and went crazy and just humped the leg of the Nurgle Warriors. These Forsaken failed their frenzy test, so thus had to charge, which was quite annoying. And then charge wise, I declared quite a few charges. I declared to the chariot into the flank of the Man-Eaters, rolled pitifully low and failed it. I charged the Forsaken into the Man-Eaters, and they rolled pitifully low and also failed it. I charged the Manticore, the Chimera, into the rear of the Man-Eaters and failed it. That was quite a long charge, to be fair. And then the Skull Crushers made a ridiculously long charge, rolling double 6s, and actually made it in on their own, which was a bit of a shame. They kind of needed some assistance, but nevertheless. Right. Then obviously there was no shooting. The magic phase, I managed to get off Curse of the Leper on my Demon Prince, rolling extremely high without getting a miscast, but I only got 1, it's +1 to his toughness. And then Sai dispelled Miasma of Pestilence, stopping his, which would have caused his BSB to actually hit me on 6s as well. So that was pretty good. Then Festus attempted to cast Fleshy Abundance on the Skull Crushers, but actually failed it, so that was a shame. So yeah, no shooting. And then in the close combat phase, the Skull Crushers went to town on the Man-Eaters, did 5 wounds. Then the Man-Eaters struck back, did 5 wounds to me. Is it 5? No, 4 wounds. So I lost to one guy and took a wound on another one. Oh, sorry, did I do 3? Yeah, because I had a wound on me already, didn't I?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I did 3. So he did 3 wounds to me, and I did 5 to him. And then my Juggernaut struck and actually killed, did another wound and killing off another guy. So actually won the combat, but he passed his stubborn 8, or stubborn 9, sorry. So he held. And then in this combat, my Demon Prince challenged him. He accepted his BSB. And the Demon Prince actually managed to do 3 wounds to the BSB after hit with all of them, wounded with all of them, so I passed 2 of his 4-up wards and took 3 wounds, so he's still alive. But then his BSB fluffed his attacks, so it didn't actually do anything to me. And the combat actually turned out to be a draw, so I had 3, so I had a rank, banner and the BSB. So yeah, so that's how it looks at the end of Chaos turn 4. So pretty optimistic at the moment. We'll have to see what Sai can do in his next turn.
Okay, it's the end of Ogres turn 4, and yeah, basically the Stonehorn charged into the Skull Crushers, and the cannon just moved around a little to shoot at the chariot. Magic Phase, I rolled quite a nice number of dice, got 9. Just managed to get 2 cracker off though, didn't want to go anything too big. But yeah, I'm suspecting it might be a bit too late now. He dispelled Troll Guts, which I tried to cast on my Man-Eaters to try and keep him alive. His shooting phase, I managed to kill his chariot. I shot it out from under him, rolling a maximum 6 wounds, which was lovely. Then in close combat, the Stonehorn came in, mauled the crap out of one of the Skull Crushers, killing it, and yeah, that was pretty much how it ended. Didn't manage to do much else to it, and in return, I got sort of mauled up, and then I just managed to put down the penultimate Skull Crusher, leaving one left, and yeah, I then chased him away. Although bizarrely, due to a bit of a weird way the rules work, because even though the 7 that I rolled was easy enough to catch him in the Stonehorn, I still have to place him an inch away because I didn't actually catch him. So a bit bizarre, but that's how we got to play it. So yeah, this is this slightly comedic scene, and then I just reformed these guys. And over here, the challenge continued. Basically, I lost the challenge. I only managed to do 2 wounds, and I failed one of the armour saves. So unfortunately, my dude got ganked. So I have no BSB now, which could be quite disastrous. So yeah, we're gonna see how the next couple of turns are going to be a bit nail biting now. So yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. So yeah, it's going to be Chaos turn 5 next. Although we are just taking a slight break to get some noms down the shop. So well, in the course of this battle report, it won't make any difference, but we will see you soon.
Okay, it's the end of Warriors of Chaos turn 5. I charged the Nurgle Warriors into his Stonehorn, and attempted to charge the Forsaken into the front of the Man-Eaters, hoping to take a big old chunk out of them, but of course they failed their charge again. And that's pretty much it for movement. The Skull Crusher rallied. Then in the magic phase, I cast Blades of Putrefaction on the Nurgle unit, increasing their poison attacks given by Festus to a 5-up. And I cast Curse the Leper on the Demon Prince, increasing his toughness by 2. And that was pretty much it. The shooting phase, the Hell Cannon fired at the Iron Blaster but missed. And then in close combat, the Demon Prince fought the Gut Star again, doing 3 wounds, killing a gut. And then he fought back. Unfortunately, he got 3 hits, 1 wound, but I managed to save it with my armour. On a 4-up. And then the Nurgle unit charged into the Stonehorn, and with the sheer amount of the poisonous attacks, the BSB actually did 3 wounds to it with poison attacks right off the bat by rolling 3 6s, which unfortunately failed to save. And then the rest of the unit just did a ridiculous amount of poison attacks and killed it outright.
9 or 10 poison attacks.
Yeah, it never stood a chance. So it's dead. And then I reformed to face the Man-Eaters. So that's it for the end of turn 5. And obviously it's looking really good right now. So I'll see what Sai can do about that. Maybe he can chop something up, but it doesn't look like he can win at this point. We'll have to find out.
Okay, it's the end of the 5th turn, and it is the last turn, because I have lost, and big style. I think I'd already lost sort of like a turn ago, but there was a chance for victory. Basically, I had to charge the Man-Eaters and the Iron Blaster in. It was my only hope, and try and get through that unit in one go, preferably catch it, wipe it out, overrun, or reform. Well, actually, yeah, definitely overrun. Get out of the way of the Forsaken. And then this would have had to have gone in to here and wiped it out. As you can see, it didn't pan out that way. Of the magic phase, basically, I managed to get Toothcracker on the guts, and I got a big Troll Guts, which troll gutted everything. However, in the close combat phase, it was ridiculous. I rolled an Ogre charge for the Man-Eaters. So initially, you think, oh man, all that's gonna rip the Chaos a new arsehole. You'd like to think.
6 impact hits as well.
I rolled 6 impact hits for that, 3 wounds, one of which Ollie two of which Ollie saved with his regen. So I'm gnashing my teeth at my inability to dispel Festus's well, actually no, that's right. That's Festus that gives them the regen anyway. But yeah, it just did nothing there. And then to cap it all off, I rolled 4 for the night. So basically, it just nullified the Ogre charge because everyone got 1 impact hit anyway. And then I got one wound and 1 which Ollie saved as well with the regen. And then I think with all the attacks, I got 1 wound, which he saved with the regen. So I did absolutely nothing to that entire unit. I mean, it's so ridiculous. I mean, that kind of luck is just my forte, unfortunately. And with that kind of herald, that was the end of the game right there. And then just to put matters worse, I lost the combat here, rolled a double 6, and that was it.
The Demon Prince decided to use Breath Weapon just to put the nail in the coffin, remove the Troll Guts.
Yeah.
Got enough to win combat, and then what was it, double 6?
Yeah, well, it wasn't even that. I mean, it was just the fact that I mean, whether I lost combat or not, that was kind of, it was the end there because
yeah, absolutely. That was just like saying, no, don't even think about that last time because there's no point.
Yeah, that I mean, it was a quit at the end of this turn no matter what. But yeah, it was definitely. I mean, that's nasty. I mean, chaos of. I think Cruddent's sort of fixed Demon Prince is something rotten. I wouldn't say they're overpowered, but bear in mind. A 540 point Demon Prince wrecked a 1300 point Ogre unit.
Yeah, he kicked its ass.
I mean, slightly. I mean, it's just the Nurgle of it. What does it is 6s to hit a single creature, and not being able to bring enough attacks to bear against it. I mean, it's just horrendous. I mean, nothing I could do. I just could not get it. I mean. And the fact that it was, I mean, the ability for it to move so fast, get in anywhere it's needed. I mean, that's real nasty. I mean, it does, unfortunately. It's going to have to force me to play a bit lamely. So expect next turn to see me castled up in a corner like a dwarf player with 2 Iron Blasters and a brace of bloody sort of 20 bloody. Lead belchers.
That's not a terrible idea.
That sort of lead belcher horde. But yeah.
It's a shame lead belchers aren't cool. That'd be a fun list, wouldn't it?
Oh, if lead belchers were cool. Yeah. So
wood elves, yeah.
Oh man, there wouldn't be much that want to come near that unit. But yeah, it was pretty disappointing towards the end. I mean, I don't mind losing to better tactics, which, to be fair, over here was fair enough. But over here, that was fucking terrible luck. The fact that I didn't wipe these guys out. I mean, literally the only points I've got in this entire game have been from.
There's a chariot and a unit of dogs.
Yeah.
So 170 points.
Yeah. absolutely sickening. I mean, it's the fact that Demon Prince basically locked down my Gutstar for the game. So yeah, I've really got to consider what I do with this Demon Prince now. It's two of these and fucking pound the bollocks out of it until Ollie doesn't want to take them anymore. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate this, because now he's actually got Demon Prince that's worth taking. I'm going to just have to fucking make him want to take a Chaos Lord. So expect to see that in the very next list I
Why did
write.
it become public enemy number 1?
Yeah, because he was about public enemy number 89 within the last book. He was just something you ignored or sent rats after, like some scuddy rats after, if I wanted to try and get some easy victory points. But yeah, that really the guy. I mean, that has now changed the whole face of how I've got to play this army. I just can't let that happen again, because I mean, that's kind of almost at the stage of bloody Squighoppers beating Mornfang type stuff. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, he beat a unit nearly 3 times his worth, which shouldn't be allowed. But it's kind of how it's supposed to be played.
Yeah, and it's not because he killed the unit, it's just because he's unbreakable and he's so defensive.
I think
It's basically like a spirit host into your Mornfang.
I don't know. I'd almost hazard, if this happens too much more, I'd almost start complaining that Unbreakable was a step too far. But it kind of does fit with Demon Prince. However, it makes them nasty, because they're now a no-brainer. You just wong them into a flank like that and you win.
Well, it's tricky getting them into a flank. But to be fair, I wouldn't even be too worried about charging in the front, as long as you're not in horde formation.
No, that's pretty true.
I mean, you were fighting with 6 guys, and they were doing nothing to it.
I can't.
So why not send them in at the front anyway?
Yeah, it's just the sixes to hit.
It's
I mean,
nails.
if I get a few lucky 6s, then I can put them down. But the trouble is getting those lucky 6s. And I think the breath weapon is what makes it. And that like Nurgle's Rot, which chips away every magic phase. You know, that's like every game turn. That's 2/3 of that.
Well, I did end up breaking them. I killed, because no one else did anything in this unit other than the Hell Cannon, and I just took that unit down to that.
Yeah. So it just goes to show. I mean, they've kind of flipped Demon Princes. I think Cruddens has flipped Demon Princes the other way now. They're pretty nice.
I think it suffers from the same thing as a lot of things do. Is it's that good that the way to deal with it is to throw something useless at it. Like, if you threw 40 slaves at this, it'd be doomed. But Ogres don't have that.
No.
If you throw a Nobbler Horde at this, that'll be over for him, because he hasn't got he's got Thunderstorm and that. It'll take a while to get through him. But with Ogres, you just don't have the quality of weapon skill and that to deal with it. You're not re-rolling to hit.
No.
So you struggle because of your low weapon skill against him, because you're needing the 6s to hit. And you just don't have any cheap chaff to hold me up.
No.
But, you know, charging at this is just as good as charging at anything else to me. I would have happily charged any of your units, really.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I kind of think what I need to do is, I mean, now certainly against this type of army, definitely I need a way of getting rid of that Demon Prince. The most effective way of getting rid of him is to fucking shoot him until he doesn't exist anymore. Because
But that is how you deal with monsters.
yeah, well, that's it. I mean, realistically speaking, I mean.
But all I need him to do is survive the first turn, because he's pretty much in combat the second turn.
Yeah. See, that's the big trouble. Is I need some way of bloody stopping that Demon Prince from getting in anywhere.
Yeah, you need to stop him getting close combat.
So
Because he's safe in close combat. He can sit there all day long, pretty happy. You know, obviously the odd chance you're going to roll loads of 6s like you did a few games ago and kill him, but it's an acceptable risk, really.
yeah, it is. I mean, don't know what to do against that. I mean, like I say, I just need
Well, you're wiser now, so.
several iron blasters and a little bit of luck. And unfortunately, I don't tend to have that much luck when it comes to shooting stuff. And over here, I mean, that was just awful.
That was bad luck.
I mean, that
No other way around it.
that was basically my chance of winning, was just to wipe them out. I mean, I would have. I don't know, really. I mean, it's tough because all of a sudden now with a fear, I now fear that demon print, because obviously the last couple of games I played, I sort of spanked him relatively easily, and it was happy days. But now that demon prince is something to fear, but it's hard to get rid of. Just its manoeuvrability is fucking horrid. So yeah,
I think if it gets you in a flank, it's just bad. You know?
I think, like you say, if it gets in anywhere,
it can go in front, but the time it's gone in front, you've had things facing the right way to support. Because like when the gut style came in against Mornfang, you know, that hurt him.
yeah.
But even that, you know, he really should have survived that. Only because you rolled a ridiculous amount of sixes, but he didn't. So it is just nails. That's particularly against ogres. You know, if you're fighting like high elves or something with the right weapon skill 5 or above, then he's not so much of a threat. But when you're fighting something with weapon skill 3 as base,
Trouble is, there's not many armies in the game that have weapon skill 5 base. Yeah.
A lot of armies in the game have chaff and cheaper units. They haven't got a 1300 point unit that can't deal with the demon prince. They've got loads of 200 point units that can't deal with the demon prince. So you just feed it stuff.
Yeah.
In this army you can't feed it stuff because you don't have anything to feed it.
No, that's it.
So all it's going to take is him to go into your 1300 point unit and then...
Well, sorry, we had battery issues on the phone. But yeah, basically, to cut a long story short, long wine short, yeah, Demon Princes are now quite powerful. As we say, Crunts has clearly done an Imperial Guard job, where he took a good book and buffed some things. I wouldn't say it's quite the same as Imperial Guard, but what he's done with Nurgle, he probably deserves to be flayed. Should duly like to reenact the scene from Passion of the Christ, the flaying scene. But I'd probably want to do that to Phil Kelly first, because I owe him far more than Cruddens ever has. Yeah, that's a pretty nasty loss there. That's probably the worst I've had in a long time, actually. But like I say, I think it's sort of the kind of crux of the army is that if I can kill that demon prince, then
yeah. Well, that is the thing, isn't it? If you kill the demon prince, this whole army falls apart.
Yeah.
So
that's it. But it's.
I mean, that's literally the game, isn't it? Like, kill the demon prince. I don't have an anvil there. I don't have a general. Don't have a caster. You know, just all crumbles.
Yeah. Because then, like, Festus relying as primary caster against the level 4, he just didn't have a good
if he
time.
gets cannoned on the first turn, then it's going to be a non-event.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the risk you're going to take.
Yeah. So basically, I've just got to cannon him enough on the first turn that he puts that back in the fail boat.
There's no marauders left to put in a fail boat.
Oh, well, I'll just have to cannon it enough so that I can make this the fail boat. So yeah, I shall hand you over to Ollie and let him recount on his victory.
What was your man of the match and turkey of the match?
I think turkey of the match was the man-eaters, who just bounced off ridiculously.
Yeah,
I can't really give man of the match, to be honest. It's probably this, because it killed one of those bloody skull crushers and it killed the chariot. So basically, it got me nearly all the victory points I've got.
Yeah, that's true.
So unfortunately, even though it was pants in close combat, that was probably my man of the match. So yeah, that's bad.
That's not a good sign.
No. So yeah, I'll leave you to Ollie now.
Right, well, that was a really good game. Certainly enjoyed it. Obviously, no guesses as to who the man of the match was for me. Clearly my Demon Prince. I think him working with his new buddy, the Chimera, both having breath weapons and that, they can put out some serious hurt. Obviously, hiding behind a building from the start of the game really helped against the cannon shots. That could potentially ruin my game. But yeah, getting the charge off against the Mornfang was obviously the start of it. And then killing the Mornfang in his turn through the use of like my breath weapons and that really helped me to like reform and charge into the Iron Guts. Obviously, my main plan for that was, that's why I took the breath weapons, is not to use them straight away, but to use them to win combat in his turn, so I can reform and then able to charge in the next turn. Because one thing I learned in the last game is after I killed those Mornfang, which I thought was doing really well, then of course it just left me open to cannons and that because I was just out and vulnerable. The Demon Prince is pretty hard to kill, but it needs to be in close combat to survive. So him staying in close combat is absolutely essential, I think. And he'll fight anything you like, but just don't leave him. I can't leave him out in the open because one cannon's going to ruin it all. As we said, as I was saying, is once that Demon Prince goes down, it's pretty much game over for me. So I think that worked really well. Luckily, because his mate was with him, he got to use his breath weapon, which of course saved mine. Because one of the reasons I gave him the breath weapon, although it makes him 30 points more expensive, is with Soul Feeder it actually allows him to heal more wounds up. So it's kind of like a healing potion for him should things get dire. Should he like eat a cannon only doing a couple of wounds to him, then he's got a way to heal himself a bit more reliably rather than relying on his 5 attacks, which of course I would normally get Thunderstomp but not against Ogres. So the breath weapon just gives me another chance to get some wounds back. So when you've got a way to heal him up, and then of course his survivability as well, it makes him pretty nasty. So yeah, so he obviously won me the game. He killed the Mornfang and this whole unit of Iron Guts on his own, which netted me a ridiculous amount of points. Pretty much 2/3 the size army from one of my guys.
That's 1,600 points?
Yeah, 1,600 points from that one guy. The Chimera did really well. Obviously he hid behind this building for quite a lot of the game, but he put on the hurt and used his breath weapon when it was needed to kill the Mornfang. The Nurgle block did really well. Obviously having Blades of Putrefaction on really helps against a monster when you do stupid amount of wounds to it. But they were there just to kind of mop stuff up and provide that sort of punch after things have been whittled down a bit. So I was expecting them to kill whatever they went into. I wasn't expecting them to survive quite as well as they did against Size Ogre Charge and Chariot, but that was just blind luck, I think, or bad luck on Size part, and quite a lot of good regen saves from me. Hell Cannon didn't really do a lot this game. He kind of jubbed out quite a lot. Did kill a few Iron Guts though, so that's fair enough. The Skull Crushers did. It was always dangerous going into the front of the man-eaters, especially when all of the support that he was expecting didn't make it. So it was a bit risky going in. They tore a big old hole in those man-eaters and then managed to survive the game through sheer luck again. So I will take that. So once again, they have impressed me, and I do just love how they can just survive this kind of crazy stuff. Not by design, but just by luck. Now, as for the Forsaken, now the jury's out on those. They pretty much ruined me the whole game. They got beaten up by Saber Tusks. They overrun into charge lanes. They failed charges loads of times and just got in the way. So I don't know if I'm going to take those again because they're a bit random. Certainly not very reliable. My thinking behind them was just to charge them in and just do as much damage as I could with them before they died. As they're only 105 points per unit because they're not corn, just 5 of them. You can just put on some hurt, sort of win through attrition, kind of like Chaos Fanatics, if you like. And of course, their movement it could also serve as redirectors. But as it turns out, they were just redirecting each other and failing charges. So, so I'm not so sure about those. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with this list. I think some things need a tweak. Still not overly pleased with the idea of the Demon Prince being a caster, but I'm just trying to think of a way to get some more magic levels into the army without spending ridiculous points on characters. So ideally, I'd like him not to be a level 4 or even a caster at all. I just worry that one day he's going to blow up from a dimensional cascade and lose me the game. So I'm not so happy about that. But that's something I want to look into. Because I think I can get him down to about 400 points, which would be really nice. So. But yeah, so it was a really good game. I really enjoyed it. I think sided up until the point where he just got really unlucky against that unit, because everything else was pretty much quite a balanced game in terms of dice rolls up until that point, when probability just spat him in his face. But yeah, so that was a nice midweek game. Certainly enjoyed it. Oh, cheers, mate. There you go, victory tea. And we're going to line one up for Sunday. I'm not sure what the armies will be yet. Hopefully, I don't know if I can cycle and handle another beating so soon from this army at least. But then that was the third game we played with this, and he did soundly pound me for the first two. So 1 out of 3 is not bad. But yeah, so I think I'm starting to find the groove with this army now, and it's certainly different to how it used to be. But God help me if I ever meet dwarves. Yeah, that just won't happen. So. But yeah, so it's certainly a fun game. And we'll probably see you on Sunday with another game.